What about training that's not about extreme? Let me tell you a little bit about my wife, okay? She has been one of the most highly recognized trainers, celebrity trainers, for decades. And she's an absolute purist. She lives about 5 to 8 years out in front of the rest of us, certainly in front of me in terms of where I think it's going. She was in front of us in terms of functional training, which we now have in the new P90X and in Insanity and TurboFire and so on, at RevAbs. We were talking about that back in 2000, 2001, and she was like, this is where it's going to go. She was that far out in front, obviously, on Shakeology and what people would be interested in paying for, while people who were used to the status quo were like, no way, you can't charge more than $30 for a meal replacement shake. She and then Darren were saying, no, what people want is an effective shake that really gets them healthy. Well, 4 or 5 years ago, she started to train with a guy who was blowing her away. In fact, the dinner conversation was always about Dr. Mark Cheng this and Dr. Mark Cheng that. They were doing a bunch of functional fitness things, some kettlebell stuff, and basically they were working on helping her get in shape for the baby that was coming, and just taking her fitness and what she's used to from her training into the new area where she thought it was going to go. Well, we have a new product in development based on Tai Chi. And you might recognize him from 100 Doctors DVD. Let me welcome to the stage for a demonstration Dr. Mark Cheng. Thank you, Mark. We have 3 test groups underway with people literally from 18 to 80 years old, literally doing this program. Go ahead, sir. Now, he's no ordinary trainer. Dr. Cheng is a fusion of extensive medical knowledge as a specialist in traditional Chinese medicine, orthopedics, martial arts research around the world, cutting-edge functional sports medicine with Gray Cook, and Russian kettlebell strength training, directly under one of its founding fathers, Pavel Tsatsouline, if that was right. Always working to educate more people of the rehabilitative and prehabilitative, which is training to avoid injury, with functional movement development using methods such as Tai Chi and kettlebell training. His teaching method reflects an eye towards detail, safety, and constant fun. He has trained with such luminaries as the LPGA's Michelle Wie, Bruce Lee protege Dan Inosanto, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu's Regan Mojado, and Shakeology inventor Isabel, as well as law enforcement and military groups around the world. Few, if any, instructors bring the rare blend of martial arts master, physician, and senior-ranking kettlebell expert to the mix like Dr. Cheng does. Now, let me tell you something about this. A few years ago, my dad had hip replacement surgery. As many of us know, the baby boomers age, they're used to going straight forward. They walk. They rarely move side to side. They rarely challenge themselves with balance moves. As you can see, everything he's doing straight up and down is challenging their balance. I realized after my dad had hip replacement surgery, I had nothing in our catalog that I could provide to him. So that was the genesis of talking to Isabel and saying, do you think Dr. Cheng could translate this very complex art of Tai Chi to DVD? We brought Mark into the office and we got the conversation going. Tai Chi should be available in the first quarter of 2012, and it's going to revolutionize fitness. Mark? And scene. Come on over here, brother. Awesome, man. Thank you. All right. Now, what can people expect to be the primary benefit of 90 days of the Tai Chi program?
Performance. Really, the big thing about Tai Chi is that it's going to give you a new insight as far as what performance is all about. You want to understand power, you have to be able to move without strain. And that's the essence of what Tai Chi is all about. Finding out where the parking brakes are on, getting those parking brakes off, and getting you the ability to express your real athletic potential.
Now, what's cool about that, when you talk about parking brakes, what do you mean?
Our bodies, especially in modern society, are in flexion most of the time. What's flexion? Sitting. So if you think about how much time do you spend sitting in a day? You spend a lot of time in the desk, sitting. Spend a lot of time, especially if you've got a commute, sitting. Spend a lot of time either in front of the TV or at the meal table, sitting. How much time do we really spend active in proportion to what we spend sitting. So we got that flexion chain of the body nice and tight. The extension is nowhere near as strong. So we find out that the muscles that flex are tighter and stronger than the muscles that extend. So when you want to extend, when you want to do something athletic, when you want to sprint, when you want to do plyos, you've got to be able to extend with power. Well, if you're trying to gun the gas pedal against the brakes, we all know how that works out with a car.
I see. So we've seen Tai Chi videos on the shelf. You know, there's always a guy in pajamas at dawn, right? And you're supposed to be able to master this complex martial art from a 30 or 45-minute video and get your Zen on. What can we expect that's different about this Tai Chi video that will really educate people?
Because I don't sleep in pajamas, I just couldn't use that excuse anymore. So,
TMI, buddy.
No, really, one of the biggest things for me is that I wanted to be able to take something that's as old school gets, traditional Chinese martial arts, which is something I've been raised in, but also fuse it with something that I've found throughout my studies in sports medicine, functional movement training, through guys who are geniuses like Gray Cook and Pavel Tsatsouline, to see how functional movement and sports medicine, modern sports medicine, the most cutting-edge science in human performance, validates the essence of old school training, and to be able to give you guys that, to improve your performance, to fill up those little divots in where we move or how we move, or feel those parts of our body that hurt and don't necessarily work right, and make those movements and ranges of motion accessible again, that's huge.
Now, I will say that the design of this DVD program has taken more focus and creativity than any other program that we've done, because we want to move people through a progression of learning that is truly gradual and truly something that normally when you would learn this art, you've got somebody correcting your form and really seeing what is wrong and what's right. So we need to be able to do it in a gentle way that somebody could learn, so that for the first time, you as a coach can in good faith hand somebody who does not have great mobility or who is coming back from an injury, you can give them a program or recommend a program that is absolutely, confidently going to help move them from hurting or immobility to true physical freedom. Now, we know that the baby boomers, they want to maintain their freedom, they want to stay out of the scrambler, right? We want to help people stay mobile. What can a extreme fitness person, a P90X Insanity or a Turbo Fire person get out of doing a round of Tai Chi?
Brilliant question. If you think about it, the body's muscles are kind of divided into two main groups, prime movers and stabilizers. By doing gross motor movement, explosive stuff, plyos, you're moving what? You're training what? The prime movers. And that's the engine of the body. That's your Ferrari engine. But as we all know, an engine's only as good as what? The frame you put it in. So once you have a stronger frame, once you have that stability, you've got that Ferrari engine inside a Ferrari frame, not a Yugo body anymore. And now, in addition, being that you're training stability, being that you're developing exquisite control and proprioception, you now have perfect responsive braking. Not all or nothing brakes, not just the parking brake, but you've got a brake that's responsive, that can decelerate you as much or as little as you need. Give you control, maintain your posture. That's huge. Now, for people that have been sedentary for a long time, that you're trying to get active, people that you want to get in your coach group, people that you want to get moving, this is one of the best stepping stones you can make for them. For people that are already high performers, think about this. To have better stability, better control, I guarantee you will see better performance. And for those people who are in my test group already, who are the Insanity people, who are the Rev Abs people, who are high-performing, high-output athletes, every single one of them has reported improvements in performance on the court, on the field, in the gym. Want to be one of those?
Yeah. Isn't that the point of this? Isn't it the point of getting more out of life, right? Help people achieve their goals to lead healthy, fulfilling lives. How many golfers do you know that would love to golf for an additional 15, 20 years in their lives? Right? How many women do you know have a baby and they want to get right back into hardcore fitness? They do damage if they go right to the hardcore fitness. This is a program that will ease them back into it. And after all this stuff has been just interrupted by this bowling ball coming into the world. Now they're going to get the parking brakes off. They're going to make everything work better. This is truly a breakthrough program that is going to solve a major gap that we've got in the catalog, and I think give you a lot more people to talk to. Mark, thanks for joining the team.
Thank you, sir.
All right.